What would you do if you were on a date courting a woman and she pulled out a dating contract? I'd be curious enough to read it and see if there are any obligations for her to live up to, or if she basically just came up with a list of bullshit that I have to live up to. That would be pretty telling about her personality and motives right there. I'd leave as soon as possible. I'd read it 'cause I'm a curious person. Then draw a dick where I am supposed to sign the contract and leave without saying another word. I would need to see the contract to have an opinion about it. I guess it's her way of answering the question of what are you looking for? And then I'd wonder why we couldn't have a conversation about it. And that she's either very insecure, controlling and/or manipulative. What would it even say? Is there a list of consequences for not adhering to it? And who is in charge of making sure both parties adhere to the contract? I'd have so many questions. I'd read it, sign it, and charge her $20 per signature since I'm a notary. I'd have to skim it real quick to see if it's a joke or what. If she was serious, hard pass. Too much effort, way too early on. Massive red flag. First I would read the contract because at that point I'd just be morbidly curious. Then I would be upfront about how uncomfortable that makes me and how I'm more than happy to enjoy the rest of the evening, but it would go no further. Edit. I will admit though, there is a chance the contract wouldn't chase me off. It would entirely depend on the contents though. And given the kinds of people that usually make dating contracts, I doubt that would happen. I'm a curious guy. I'm gonna at least look at the contract. I want to know what it says at least. I'm attracted to humans, not modrons. I'd need to see it. I mean, it fundamentally could just be a conversation starter for the terms and boundaries of the relationship, which are good discussions to have when you're seriously dating someone. Any draft form of a contract is merely a start of the negotiation. It would actually save me a lot of time to figure out what her values are by reading the contract, and what she finds important and what she does not find important. Then in negotiation you can find out where she is flexible on and what she is not. The whole exercise would take me 4 days to figure out what normal circumstances would be 6 to 9 months of dating. Sounds like an excellent idea. Add daily blowjobs. And all dinner dates are split 50-50. Extra clause. Man does all spider killing in the house. A what? Am I trying to date a Sheldona Cooper? Make a paper aeroplane out of it, and leave on it. That's weird. Laugh at what I would hope is a joke, then read the contract and see if it is one. If they are a lawyer, just get up and leave immediately. If they aren't, then I'd be genuinely curious and have a look. Very likely revise with some clauses for myself. See how we'd go from there. Clear expectations are good. Dating contract is unusual, but as long as its contents aren't objectionable and y'all are serious, then I can see why someone might want that and it could be reasonable. Still, in all likelihood a red flag and definitely necessitates a conversation about why and their probably traumatic dating and family history. Ask if she's paying for the notary. Read it with bemusement. Unless it contains some wacky shit, why not? This is what I like to call a yellow flag. It's the kind of thing that sets off alarm bells in one's head, but isn't necessarily a bad thing, depending on details. If the terms of the contract were perfectly reasonable, covered both our actions, and weren't ridiculously restrictive, it might just be off-putting instead of outright bad. But it would be very much teetering on the brink, with 1 or 2 words out of place in the contract being able to push it solidly into red flag territory. Not the first date, but my wife I did a marriage contract. And yesterday we just wrote up a baby contract. Yes, it's nerdy, but it also helps set expectations and get us on the same page about what's going to happen. I'd low-key be kinda excited, lol. I'd want to see what it said, but I'd expect a good explanation on why she thought we needed one. Get up to go to the bathroom, and not come back. Well, I'm a woman, but I would get the hell out of there ASAP. Be excited about it. I love nonconformist women. People keep saying honestly, communication and cooperation is important. Well, a contract is literally based on the meeting of minds and should benefit both parties. Consideration. The more I think about it, the more this seems like it should be normalized. It's unenforceable, of course, but still. Setting expectations clearly shouldn't be taboo. Figure out a way to take this date in for a soft landing, and get out of there. I've actually got a few offers. I'll have my folks reach out to you when I've made a decision. That's more investment than I've gotten this year. So I'm down. A binding contract would be just fine with me at this point. It's good to be clear about your expectations. Are her expectations reasonable? Are they things I generally agree with and mostly do anyway? Do I know her well enough, and has she demonstrated that the benefit of being in a relationship with her more than compensates for whatever it is I'd be agreeing to do not do? Are there clear expectations that she's holding herself to, and do I agree with them? The bottom line is I'd be amused and read her contract and then take things from there. Depends. But I would be intrigued because it would mean no games. Or she's doing it to cement me in place so she can play all the games. It's a gamble I'd probably take one time at least. Walk away. She can pay the bill if that's how it'll be. I'd laugh at first because surely it's a joke. If she's serious, I'd walk out. Reject. Please go touch grass. Ask if she knows who Titania is and enjoy the ride if she does. Counter with my own proposed contract. Hire a lawyer. Draft a fair contract compromising where necessary. If all that goes swimmingly, I'll have it notarized. Print copies for us and our lawyers. And have a nice dinner date every other Saturday to celebrate. Lol, courting. Read it. Scratch out clauses I don't agree with, then write in my own for us both to sign. Of course she wouldn't sign it. And would have had an evening to write about for Reddit. I would read the contract. I'd high-key be curious and read the contract, lol. A what? Nope. I'm out. If it were the first date, I'm out. If it was as we were getting serious, it depends on how flexible the contract is. I find no issues in having stuff in writing. But if she only makes demands from me and offers nothing in return, I'm out. If she makes no concessions to my boundaries, I'm out. As for why we couldn't just have a conversation, well, people suck at communicating and writing up a mock contract, like seriously. How would it hold up in court? Makes sense to me to establish certain talking points. Laugh and leave. I would excuse myself to go to the restroom after dinner. And just leave and stick her with the bill. I just thought of this, sorry. I thought we were in the smoking section. But apparently they've seated us in the anal retentive section. As a desperate 35-year-old, I would at least take a look at it. Advise her to save it for her next date. Wish her well and goodbye. Probably will try to marry that one depending on the contract. I'd think it's fucking hilarious, but if she's serious, I'd tell her she's out of her goddamn mind. Relationships are about trust, not control. If it was something that we made together, then I'd be down entirely. But for that one-sided dictatorship, I'd rather die. I'd cross out the entire document, and add at the bottom, dicks out for Harambe.